Good evening, everybody. This is the Conservation Commission's meeting for Wednesday, February 18th, 2026. We're going to call to order at 7 o'clock. And we have with us Bob Shabbat, Jackie Kulig, Laura Rodriguez, Tessa Gutowski, Ali LeMay, and Paul Pribula is here as a guest right now. Hopefully he will be able to be on the commission with us next month. Unfortunately, the Board of Selectmen did not put him on the agenda yet I guess they're checking all your references, Paul. Just kidding. They just haven't had time to do it. So I'm confident that their next meeting, you'll be on the agenda.
Their background reports can be brutal.
So we can seat Ali for Nora, who I know is not going to be here today, if somebody wants to make a motion.
So moved.
I'll second it.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Okay, Ali, you're in. If Patty or Heather join us, we have one other vacant spot, which is just a vacant opening on the commission. So we can seat them if they come in. Just remind me. Approval of the minutes for January 21st, 2026. Does anybody want to make a motion on that?
I'll make a motion to approve the minutes.
Okay, do I hear a second? Okay, any discussion, any changes, comments? Okay, hearing none. All in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, abstained, so moved. Okay. All right. Present to speak. Paul, do you want to say anything tonight? Oh, your audio.
No, I have nothing. No. Thank you.
Okay, well, I'm glad you're with us tonight. Finance, Tess, want to give us a report?
Yeah, for the balance for the town budget is now $970.46. The town has processed all the invoices that we submitted to them. We don't have anything pending. So right now the balance is $970.46. And for the ARPA balance, it's $130.81. And we need to expend that money before the end of March.
Right.
Okay, after ARPA, you're saying?
The ARPA money is $130.81 for a balance. And we have to expend the money before March.
Okay, great.
Yeah, by the end of March.
By the end of March.
Yeah. So the plan that I thought we could do is we can go back to Willard's because that's where we have to buy things from, the way that they set up the invoicing for this. We can buy a bunch of screws to have available for us for boardwalks and bridges and so on. Is there anything else people can think of that you'd want us to purchase from Willard's? We have more than enough wood because we've, purchased quite a lot and it's stored right now at Public Works. Any other thoughts or ideas?
Did you think about maybe having some kind of like clippers? Because people bring their own clippers.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, I don't have the big ones that other people do. Is that something that maybe we would want to think about getting?
Yeah. That definitely we could use that money for that. And Willard's would have that. So sure, we'll look into getting a nice pair of clippers. Okay,
For
good
the-
idea. Yeah.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, for the volunteers, for yourself or whoever is coming out.
Yeah.
Great idea.
How are we situated with medallions for boundary marking? Jeff?
We're pretty good actually, Bob.
Okay.
Yeah,
just a thought.
Yep. Good thought though. Any other thoughts or ideas? Again, our next meeting in March, there still would be a little bit of time before the end of March if we think of something else. But in the meantime, I'll make sure we pick up the clippers and some screws, and then we'll see what the balance is like from there. Okay, it'd be great, even if it's 2 pairs of clippers, we'll have them available for volunteers that come out, or a pair of gloves or something like that I could pick up. All right, moving on to, well, actually, before I do that, I just wanted to check in with Bob. Bob presented for us in front of the CIP in terms of the request for open space money. Bob, do you want to talk a little bit about how that went, or?
It was pretty straightforward, a few questions. Few people were asking why we don't try to go after more grant money. And I explained that when we decide to go for a grant, it's like asking volunteers to take on a second job. And they understood that. They asked why we hadn't been getting money right along over the years for open space. I explained that, but also said that the town had come through for us several times in a pinch, although it took months to get through that, and explained why we were asking for having more money up front for open space so that we could act more responsibly when we do have to interact with a landowner, so that it puts us in a better light with a landowner, and we're acting more professionally. But other than that, it went very well.
Good, good. Hopefully, we're requesting $40,000 this year to be put in the open space fund. The open space fund, as far as I can tell right now, because I haven't been able to get a detailed sheet from the finance office, but it seems like it's pretty close to $120,000 in the open space fund right now. So that's, if we get another 40,000, that would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, great. And I did present our regular budget to the Board of Finance on the 12th, and they really didn't have any questions about that. That went well. I told them we're continuing to work on a shoestring budget, and I made sure that they knew that we were able to do that because of all the support and help we have from a lot of volunteers, our Conservation Commission members, but also the volunteers that come out to steward the trails and work on the projects there. So I let them know that. Old business. Oh, let's see. Hang on just a second. Heather, hello. Heather came in. Heather, we can see you. Do I hear a motion to seat Heather for the vacant opening?
Sorry about that. I had another meeting that ends at 6:45, so it's always a bit tight.
Yeah, so moved on that, Kathy.
Okay. A second on that?
I'll second it.
Okay, Tess. All in favor of seating Heather tonight as a regular member, say aye.
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 Okay, Heather, you can vote with us tonight. All right, let's see. Property management, Fenton Ruby. I just wanted to let you know that since the last meeting we had, someone had contacted the Park and Rec Commission and asked if they could have a little gathering at Fenton Ruby Park for a wedding this weekend. So I don't know how that's going to go, but it was supposed to just be a couple of people that were going to basically use the platform that's in front of the pond. And I did not have a problem with it. It wasn't like they were bringing anything else on site. It was just to have a little, very quick ceremony. But I'm not sure if that's gonna go. But I wanted people to know in case you're out at the park and you see them having a little ceremony out there. So, as far as the trails, Tess, you'd been out on the trails recently with your snowshoes. What did you see? Anything?
No, the trails are in really good shape. It's beautiful out there. It's just beautiful. I went around the pond and I went about a mile on Julia's trail, and that was very nice. But there was no down trees, nothing. So it was pretty clear.
Excellent, excellent. Anybody else been out at the park recently?
I was snowshoeing like the red trail, the Ruby Trail connection and all that, and that was fine. It was lovely.
Excellent. Okay, great. All right, and let's see, Paddock Sanctuary, again, I still have to work on updating the website on that. Mrs. Paddock sent us some pictures. Did I tell you this already last meeting? She asked if a picture of herself and her husband could go along with the write-up that would be on the website. Does anybody have a problem with that? If we put a small picture?
That'd be nice.
Okay.
Do we have a picture of the rubies by any chance?
You know, not that I know, we don't personally, but maybe that's something, Bob, do you know, with the Historical Society?
I hidden in the archives, I'm sure there's a picture of the rubies.
Yeah.
I can check in the next week or so. I'm working on redoing one of the walls down there, so I'll have a peek in the files in the office next time I'm there.
That would be nice to include.
Yeah, that would be great. Okay, or even a picture. I don't know if there's a picture of their old homestead somewhere before it got torn down, or don't know.
There is one that came from the paper. If you want to go into the archives of the Chronicle, there's a distant shot of it. That's the only one that has all the clapboards and everything on it. The ones that the society has, it's down to the skeletal remains of the original framing.
Oh, okay. Well, if you come across that one in your search for pictures, if you want to, can you scan them, or what would you be able to do with them?
Yeah, I can scan those
Scan
or
'em?
have somebody scan them.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. Okay, let's see. Park plan update. We have to update the park plan to include the Pedix property. I had that on my list of things to do as well for March when we meet in person. We can look the park plan over. What I'll do is I'll print it out, a copy for everybody, so you can actually have a paper copy rather than have to read the whole thing online. So
Is it online now, Kathy?
yes, it should be
Okay.
on the website. Yep. Yep. One of the other things I was going to ask, and we don't have to make a decision now, but if we have some leftover money in our budget this funding year, I was wondering if we might be interested in buying some hats or t-shirts or something that say Fet and Ruby on them, or say conservation or something, and give those to the trail stewards, kind of just as a to honor the work that they do out there. It's just a thought.
I like that thought a lot. Farmington Land Trust did that, and they gave them to the stewards, and it said Farmington Land Trust Steward. So I think that's a very nice thing to do.
Mhm.
Okay. So what we could think about is like, what would the design look like? And then we'd have to investigate, what the cost would be. Typically, the hats themselves aren't overly expensive. It's that setup cost for doing any kind of printing. So, does anybody here know of someone that does that kind of work, that does printing on hats?
I
or-
heard someone down in Willimantic, but it's the guy who works at the Westford Hill Distillery in Ashford. I can find out what his business name is, but
Okay.
yeah, I think he does screen printing.
Okay, that'd be great, Jackie, if you can get that information. It'd be nice to use a local person rather than, order them online or something.
We could use the owl motif that we have on the boundary markers.
Yeah,
They are, and we also have a mug for the town conservation. I have the mug.
Yeah.
For the owl.
yep. Yeah, they printed up those many years ago. It was almost before I was on the commission. It was over 20 years ago.
Yeah.
I think they were selling them.
Yeah, that's where I bought it. I bought it in the town.
Yeah.
I still have it.
Yeah, I actually have one too, because I think there was some left over when I came onto the commission. Does anybody else have one? Paul, do you have one?
I think I've got at least one, yes.
Yeah. So, I mean, I was just looking to see if I had it handy that I could grab it and show you, but we can maybe look at the logo that was done with that and see if that would be something we want to put on a hat. We have quite a few stewards. We also have the stewards from Mason Road, so I guess putting Fenton Ruby wouldn't make sense.
I've got the mug.
You got it? All right, show
Yep.
us. Yeah, I like that. At least the owl. Maybe I'm not so sure about the square or the
Yeah,
diamond.
but
Yeah,
it's designed already, so.
yeah.
Yeah,
And you would include all the, you'd include just not Fenton Ruby, but all of our properties, right?
Right, we could put I'm just trying to think, Town of Wellington Land Steward or something like that.
Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
Okay. And then it would be a little bit more for anybody who does help out. You know, if we could think about the people that often come out to our work days and consider, you know, depending on what the cost is, we could buy some extras and then have them available on those days.
Mhm.
So, okay. Moving on with the Knowlton property. The steward, Tom Smith, contacted me and he said the trails on the Knowlton are clear. We haven't done any more work on the Talmadge, obviously, with all the snow, but we still have some work to do on the bridges out there in the spring. Collaborative organizational news, a couple things from the Wellington Public Library. I think you remember we had talked about their summer reading program called Plant a Seed, Read. And we talked about trying to get somebody that would work with them to read a story to the kids and have some kind of an activity around farm to table or, you know, agriculture. And Jennifer Kruger, who used to be the Wellington Garden Club's president, which is now no longer in action. But Jennifer has a background in agriculture. She also works for a seed company out in Union, and she's going to work with the library to put together something this summer for the kids. And she's just doing it. I asked her if she wanted some type of stipend that we could kick in for, and she said no, she would just do it as a volunteer. So that's one thing. I had looked into getting a speaker to talk on soil health and gardening, and we had looked at trying to get somebody from the from NOFA, from the Organic Farmers Association, and we couldn't get somebody that could come on the dates that the library had open. So I reached out to the Tallinn Master Gardeners, and they were able to find a speaker who is the director of UConn's Plant and Soil Science Center. And we're going to have a talk either on April 9th or the 16th. And that would be from 6 to 7:30, and it'll be on gardening and soil health. So I'll let you know when we firm up that date. We're just trying to make sure that it's still going to work for the library. And then the last thing I was going to mention again, I think I had sent out flyers to everybody. I don't know if you remember a green flyer that came out. It's something that we're doing for the Natchog watershed, but it's going to be at the Wellington Library. So on March 12th, from 5 to 6:30, speaker will be there to talk about meadow design in terms of, you know, how to do that with water quality in mind, you know, kind of as a ecological landscaping type of project. So if people are interested in that, you have to pre-register through the Naturally Natchog site. I think when I sent out the flyer, it had all the information. But if you're not finding it, let me know and I'll resend the flyer to you if you're interested. Sounds like it's going to be a good speaker too. The person that they have coming is well known for working in ecological landscaping. So
Did the wetlands people get that, Kathy? Did our land use agent get that?
I believe that it was sent out to everybody that is on a land use commission.
Okay, good.
But I'll double check that. Very good question. Okay. And let's see, Park and Rec, we don't have anything going on with them at this point. Is anybody aware of anything coming up? Okay. And the Healthy Watershed Advisory Board, I had also sent out a flyer on land conservation and estate planning. It's 3 webinars that is being hosted by the Last Green Valley, but also sponsored by multiple organizations, including the Natchog Watershed Board. And that's going to be on the evening of February 26th, March 26th, and April 23rd. They're free webinars. They're really geared for people who are forest landowners, to help people start to think about the future of their land, how to have conversation with family, what they could do now to help with, being able to have lower taxes on the land, explaining to people about the PA 490 program, those kinds of things. So some really good free webinars. And I hope if you know of anybody who has, 10 acres or more of forest land, it would be a very appropriate series of talks for somebody like that. And if you want, I can resend the flyer out to folks if you,
Yeah, that'd
know.
be great.
Okay, I'll send that back out.
The
Kathy-
flyers are also on the website too.
Yeah, thank you, Heather. Yes, and Heather put up the both of those on our website, both of those flyers. Thanks, Heather, for reminding me. Yep. But I'll send them out as well. And let's see, town 300th anniversary. Any updates on that, Bob?
No, our last meeting was postponed. We're meeting, I believe, next week. We're still looking for thoughts and ideas, and our latest thing is maybe asking people in town what they'd like to put into a time capsule. So it's still up in the air, and if anybody has any brainstorms that they just have to have for our 300th anniversary, just reach out and let somebody know. We don't want to have the anniversary and then have somebody say, well, gee, how come you didn't do X, Y, or Z? Well, it's too late. You have to wait another 300 years.
Well, we know that one of the ideas that Tess had brought up was about doing the trails kind of as a series of trails, getting people to get some kind of a reward for doing all the trails, or at least so many of the trails. So
Mhm.
that's one of the things we were thinking about doing as a commission. I think we talked too about the idea of looking into scenic roads. Did anybody have time to do that?
I
It was
haven't.
too cold to think about scenic roads.
Too busy with snow and other stuff right now.
Yep, no worries.
And
Totally.
budget season, which is driving me nuts.
Oh, yep.
Does anybody have an idea what roads they would even consider as a scenic road now?
I think
Um,
Moose Meadow.
Meadows.
Yeah, Moose Meadow, Marsh Road. Those are the two that come, to mind right away. Everybody has their favorites, I guess.
There's Kutco Road too. That's one of my favorites. I don't know.
Yeah, Kutcher was a good one.
Yeah, that's true.
Beautiful farmland up there, nice view from the top and very open.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've looked into it a little bit, and there are a certain number of caveats that come attached. So it's not as straightforward as just, oh, well, let's nominate the road and let's get going. The people that live on the road do have a say about that, kind of in the same way that they have in a historic district, like we have up here on the green, around the town green. So, it's a little bit more involved and time consuming than a lot of people would think at first glance.
What are some of the old roads the original roads that were in Wellington. Do you think any of them would be,
Well, Moose Meadow roads, I mean, early on, that was noted that it was an Indian path.
perfect? And any other roads maybe that I know, I mean, 74 is an old road, but
Yeah, 74 is, there's some different twists and turns. The section that comes up through the town green is in its natural location. If you go down towards the Willimantic River, originally that road was about 600 to 800 feet to the east of where it is now. If it goes over where it goes over Conant Brook, it was about, if you walk down the brook about 600 or 700 feet, you come across the original abutments for the King Post Bridge that went over it when it was a dirt road in the 1700s.
yeah. I'm just trying to tie maybe a scenic road to the 300th anniversary. That could be one of the original roads. I think that would be kind of fun.
I know Moose Meadow is a good candidate because there was a lot of the early tenant farmers were up that way. I don't know, Moose Meadow just has a lot of value historically.
Well, and everybody, everybody in town today, everybody thinks about Moose Meadow Road, and they say, "Oh yeah, Moose Meadow Road." Well, you have to understand that Moose Meadow Road was the road to Moose Meadow, and Moose Meadow was a community that started where Jared Sparks comes out, where the Joe Green lives. That was the post office originally. And then as you go up towards 84, there's some of the old houses are still there. And where the cemetery was, closer towards the truck stop, there used to be a church there. And that was the Lilliebridge Church. And if you go back in the records, there's a description of that church by someone from England who had visited the area in the 1700s and said what a disgrace the church was. But so that's Moose Meadow has a long history of being one of the villages in Willington.
That's interesting. I wonder if if we can't do the scenic road by then, I wonder if it would be interesting to have a talk about Moose Meadow Road and, you know, maybe do it from Fenton Ruby. There could be a talk, but it could be about Moose Meadow Road. Is that
Um,
something that you or Mark would be?
Mark Palmer has done an awful lot of research on that area of Moose Meadow and the twists and turns of the carriage roads or carriage paths that were in that area and the different pieces of land that were there. See, that part is on the edge of the Ashford Mile. And what Mark found that was interesting was that when Willington did their descriptions, they used a chain that was of different total length than what they used in Ashford. So when he went to compare and he starts looking at the different deeds, why they wouldn't match up, it finally came to light that, well, Ashford used a chain that was a different length than the chain that was used in Willington.
Huh.
So there, a lot of what he uses for his historic research, things don't jive. Well, they don't jive because there were two different types of measures used.
Gotcha.
Is there a website, Bob, that we can look at that you could direct us to for scenic roads? Is there something on the state level?
If you go onto the state site,
I just do scenic roads.
yeah, it has the whole layout of what's required for scenic roads.
Yeah.
It's what is it? It's
Historic, cultural, natural.
well, it just lays it out what's needed for to have a scenic road designated.
Yeah.
And it goes through the whole thing about, people having to get on board. You have to form a committee, and and of course, we all know that when you form a committee, things don't happen quickly.
So I have a thought when you have a second.
Yeah, go
So
for it.
on a smaller scale, if we didn't do the scenic road, now, you had my brain thinking about how to connect the town to this history of Moose Meadow and Moose Meadow Village. So when in my old firm, I did this. This crosses, it's much bigger scale because it crosses a bigger land area. But we could do something similar. So it's the Rochambeau route.
Oh, yeah, that's a good.
Right. So I did the graphics on this, and we could do something similar for that Moose Meadow area where we can have, show where things were. There's information and historical pictures and documents that tie it to specific areas along the route. But this is across Connecticut all the way to Yorktown and everything. We're not doing that. But just for that section you're talking about where we can talk about the church and maybe all the way down and have something like this for the 300th anniversary if we can't do. It would be, I
Yeah.
definitely need to coordinate with Mark and on you and Historical Society to
Yeah.
and do some, I could do some archival stuff, but you've got, where it all is.
Yeah, because
And
Moose Meadow,
do something like this that could be handed out for
there
people.
were two churches on Moose Meadow. In 1700s, the Lilliebridge Church was up on, what is that? What does Moose Meadow end at? I can never remember.
Turnpike Road.
Turnpike
Turnpike.
Road. So the church, Lilliebridge's church, was on Turnpike Road, where it makes that quick, sharp S when you're going towards the truck stop. And then there was I believe it was the Methodist Church, was down on the other end of Moose Meadow near 74. And that was torn. The society has a drawing of that church as it was being taken down in the 1920s or something like that. So yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on there. It's one of the older, roads, and like I say, originally it was an Indian path. So it's.
Are there,
I can talk to Mark about that, and maybe he has some thoughts about either getting involved or trying to run for cover. I don't know. I can have a conversation with him about that.
I was just wondering, are there historic homes on Moose Meadow that are
So
still?
the interesting thing about Willington, there are tons of historic homes. However, the only historic homes that are recognized by the state are around the Willington Green and several down in East Willington. The rest of them, yes, they're historic, and there's been people over the years that have said, oh, well, can we get some help with windows or roofs or things like that? And the answer is no. Unless you're willing to register your house as a historic home and give up some of your entitlement, and that means what the exterior of the house looks like or what you would like it to look like, you're not eligible for any state or federal grant money for windows, roofs, siding, anything like that. And there's been a number of cases over the years that I'm well aware of that people said, oh yeah, we'd love to help, but no, we're not going to give up any of our entitlement to our home. So there are trade-offs.
Okay.
And most of it is exterior. They don't want the house to look different than it did in its prime.
Yeah. So there's no historic registered homes on Moose Meadow? No registers?
It's possible the one right on the corner of 74 is.
Yeah, I don't know if that's registered, but I know which one you're talking about.
It's not registered. That used to be a tavern, by the way, and the bar is still in there, in that house. It's mentioned as one of the stage stops in one of the schedules, I believe.
Not far from the other tavern.
There we go.
So we have Moose Meadow, which goes by our property, and then Marsh Road would go by the other properties, right?
Right, right.
I
Yeah.
think that's kind of an interesting kind of two roads that we might want to look at.
Yeah, Marsh Road, I mean, the
Because
houses,
you have
the
an old house.
houses that are there, at least part of it, you don't have to go for the whole road. You just want to go eat the easy part. You could go where all the land that's held as open space. And then most of the houses there is well set back. So most people wouldn't object to being on a historic road. I don't know, you could take that angle, I suppose, Tess.
Are you,
It ties to our properties.
You know,
well, Marsh Road doesn't really tie.
No,
No, I mean, we have a trail, the Blue Trail comes
right,
out
the blue
onto
trail
Marsh
goes
Road,
through
but
it.
it,
Yeah.
it's not, well, it's
Yeah, I
on,
know, yeah.
you're right, though. You're actually right. We do have the Knowlton property that's on Marsh. You're right.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
because we hold all that property from um, where the north property is. Well, we don't hold the north property, but from the north property all the way down, all the way to 44, at least on
Right.
one side of the road,
Right.
Right.
we have. So there, we can say yes to that as one landowner, I guess, the town. It's just a matter of touching base with the other property owners, I think. But check out
Yeah.
the state site with
Yes.
scenic roads, and everything's laid out there.
Great. Well, good thinking. I mean, just some ideas. I kind of like Heather's idea about doing something along Moose Meadow Road. And then you have the cemetery at the very end on Turnpike. I mean, you could always end up there talking about, because I know you're working on some of the cemetery stuff. Are there old headstones in that cemetery?
There are. So one of the things that the Historical Society is working on, I've photographed an awful lot of the Revolutionary War veterans' stones over the years. And what the Historical Society is working on right now is having a event. Right now, we're thinking about April, having someone come in and talk about the evolution of the stones. And basically, what I'm having anything printed do is blow these stones up so they're about 2.5 feet tall by about 18 inch or 16 inches wide. High res photographs of the stones. And as part of the 250th anniversary of the United States, but it's also very interesting to wander through those graveyards or burying grounds, if you will, and see how their thoughts and how religious beliefs changed from the 1770s until the 1815s or 1820s. You go from grotesque or frightening with the death heads, winged death heads, to something a little bit demure of urns and weeping willows. Some of the epitaphs are still pretty creepy, but I think it's interesting. Christina and I had gone to Vernon. They had a tour of one of the ancient burying grounds there. And there were 50 or 60 people that came out. It was a wonderful presentation. And we're hoping to have a walk in the Hill Cemetery for our next year for our 300th anniversary. And I think the one that we're having to highlight the Revolutionary War veterans and the stones that we have left there. would be a good, a good thing to attend and just to understand and, salute the people that gave us our freedom.
Definitely. Well, thank you, Bob. That's some really good background on all this. All right, we'll keep those ideas in mind. Any other thoughts or ideas for something we can do for the 300th? Okay, moving on, we'll get to support for farmland preservation and the farm ordinances. As you know, we were supposed to go in front of EDC in January, but we got snowed out. So we're back on track for this coming Monday, the 23rd. We're going to be presenting before EDC at 6:30, and we're going to be having a special meeting at 5:30 that we're inviting, the public can come, anybody from the public, but we are reaching out to the farmers again and encouraging them to come earlier so we can, talk to them a little bit more about their concerns, make sure we explain the ordinances well for them. So that's going to be at 5:30 on Monday, lower level, not where we vote, the lower level, we have to use that room on Monday night. So if anybody wants to come, I will be noticing it as a special meeting for the Conservation Commission. Any questions on that or?
Wasn't it a workshop you did notice it as, Kathy?
Say it again,
Or-
Jackie?
Was it supposed to be listed as a workshop or a special meeting?
I'm listing it as a special meeting, but it will basically say that it's kind of a workshop discussion with
I wasn't sure with a special meeting if we need a quorum.
I don't think we need a quorum unless we're voting. So that's
Okay.
that's a good question. Does anybody know if they're going to be coming? It'll be at least Jackie and I. If we had 4 people there from the commission, basically we wouldn't have to worry about this because we'd have.
No, I can try to be there.
Okay.
I'll try and be there.
Okay, that'd be great.
But I think Jackie's right. I think you were going to talk. Weren't you going to? How did you post it last time, Kathy? As a workshop?
I ended up doing it as a special meeting.
Oh, you
because-
did?
Yeah, to post it.
Because I think Jackie's right about quorums.
Okay. Well,
If you're not voting on anything, does it matter if you have a quorum?
I don't believe
technically
so.
not. I mean, we could
No.
be there and listen to what they have
Yeah,
to say.
yeah.
Because we're not voting on anything. So, but that would be great if Bob and Tess could come. I mean, I think it'd be good for us to meet more of the people that are involved in agriculture in town, and we're trying to get them together as well so that they recognize there's, other people interested in this, and there might be some resources they can share and information and so on. So we're hoping this will be planting a seed, if you will, to getting things in town a little bit more organized for the people that are involved in agriculture. And there's actually some people that are, I was surprised at how many people are doing small little operations. It might just be raising, quail and having quail eggs and they're selling those, or microgreens, or, somebody just told me the other day they're doing asparagus on their property. So that's really interesting that, we don't have lots of big, large open areas where people are going to come in and do large vegetable farms, but we have people doing like little niche things, whether it's maple syrup or it's something else. Joe and Carmen Hall do the Bluebird Acres, which is the wedding venue, but they also have a farm and they have farm animals and things like that. Some people just have sheep. They might be just raising sheep for the wool. So there's a lot of small things going on in town, more than I imagined. Oh,
Mhm.
That's Monday at the town hall, lower level.
lower level. Yep.
I have a conflict that night, so I will not be able to go.
Okay. Well, we'll try to take good notes from, get some feedback from the farmers. Let's see. Town development. I know that Bob and I we went to the ZBA meeting last week, which was related to an applicant who wanted to convert the old gun shop into a restaurant and 6 apartments. And also the old property that's behind Dunkin' Donuts. He had applied to convert that old building that used to be an antique building into 3 apartments, and also to build another building in the front closer to Dunkin' Donuts into an ice cream parlor. And that got voted down by ZBA, basically. They were looking to, because it's a commercial property, they wanted to have some type of a variance that they could also have housing on the property. So I just wanted to let people know that that was voted down
Were there 2 applications, Kathy, or just one?
too.
And what
Two.
happened to the other one?
Both of them got voted down because our zoning regulations do not allow housing on commercial property.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, but what about the ice cream parlor? That's a
Oh,
separate
well,
application.
he could come back and ask that, but he would have to do it as a separate application because he
Oh,
was
he
doing.
didn't do it as a separate application already. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, he could come back too and just ask to put a restaurant in the old gun shop. You know, that's another option.
Wasn't that property that's next to Dunkin' Donuts, the old antique shop? There's another house that was on the other side. Wasn't there contamination issues with
Yes,
that
there
house?
are.
So
Yes.
Yeah.
There are water contamination issues.
yeah, so
Yeah.
housing might not even be feasible there.
Well, obviously, he would have to go through the health department and
Yeah.
check the water. There were a lot of concerns, honestly.
Yeah,
I mean, I
okay.
don't know if you guys have been watching what goes on there on those properties, but there's been stuff going on without permits and some digging and leaving cars there that questionable registration and lots of things that have been going on for the last couple of years that have been an issue for the land use agent and planning and zoning have been dealing with the applicant. So this was just, he was trying to go through the ZBA, the Zoning Board of Appeals, to get a variance to have more than one commercial, a commercial use and housing, which isn't allowed by our zoning regs. So he would have to come back and ask the town to basically have a text amendment to change our zoning regs to allow for that. So there's a process he can go back to planning and zoning if that's what he chooses to do. Well, there's not a lot of information here that I'm presenting that really has to do with conservation, except maybe in the purview of conservation of things like water. Do we have water and sewer capacity in those areas to support that? So, was there anything else from planning and zoning or inland wetlands that anybody knows about?
No, planning and zoning has been very quiet. The few people that have come and talked to us before they apply have not come back. And so nothing to report there.
Okay. I will tell you that Austin Harmon from Hull Forestry got in touch with me this week. He said that he is putting in an application with inland wetlands for a forest harvest off of Angela Lane. It's on a property that the town of Wellington holds a conservation easement on a portion of it, but they are not doing any forestry practices within the easement itself. So he was just letting me know, and I said, well, we don't have any purview over the rest of the property, so there was nothing that we would really be commenting on because they're not going into the easement for the harvest. So I just wanted to let you know, he's doing it out of respect, I guess.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, common courtesy.
yeah. Open space opportunities, anything that people are aware of, anything new on the market or through the grapevine?
I had some thoughts. So I've been doing some like getting mentored by one of the wildlife biologists at Deep, his focus is habitat restoration. And we were brainstorming last week because I was thinking about like the landfill that we have. It's capped, but are there options to do some habitat restoration there that wouldn't affect the integrity of the cap? I have to work with Deep on that to just see if it's even feasible. But the Cattle Rock property. So I meant to talk to Mike about it today, but he was super busy, and that's kind of come up again. And we manage that property with mowing annually, but last year when they were out there, I went out with them, and I noticed there's quite a lot of biological diversity up there. Yes, I know they're brownfields, but that doesn't mitigate its intrinsic value as wildlife habitat. And so I had asked Troy that, hey, there were stands of goldenrod and other specific key species for pollinators and other diversity. And we left those up. And I'm going to tell you, it was just stunning to see what was happening there. It's a brown field, so we can't really do much with it, but could we focus on habitat restoration for it? I don't know, it could be a new trail system. I know we only have 30 acres and Ashford has 300, I believe.
200,
But
yeah, 300.
there's wetlands back there. I mean, we're just going and mowing it down, but if we had some real focused restoration efforts, it could be something amazing.
That's it's a great thought. I mean, maybe we can get out there in the spring and see what's happening. The Blue Trail goes through a part of that as well, the northern
Right.
section. And just so you know, I don't think you were with us at the last meeting, Heather. Were you?
No, I
I
mother-in-law.
mentioned there's a committee that's been formed. It consists of 3 people from Ashford and 1 from Willington to look at they're hiring a consultant to look at the whole Cattle Rock property and to advise both towns what's a potential use in the future, because they've been trying to apply for a grant to continue to remediate the property, and the grantor will not give any money to either town until they know what the potential uses are for the property. So there's a consultant being hired, and
I mean, that makes sense, giving
Yeah.
out, so we have a plan, not just give us the money,
Yeah.
I,
Yep.
I'm interested in, it has a lot of potential, and
Yeah.
especially if Ashford was willing to participate. I mean, 330 acres, that would be a significant portion for habitat. I mean, unfragmented, it would be wonderful.
Yeah.
Well, though I was told that the most contaminated side was the Willington side.
Willington side. Yeah. So it's not going to probably potentially be, housing or something where,
Right.
but they did test all the well water in the area and nothing got contaminated. But I was told that could never become like a school site. They would never site a school there.
Right.
But there's other potential things, like you said, or it could, it could be left as a pollinator habitat or like an early successional habitat that we just keep up as early succession.
Right. It's I don't know when last time you were out there, but when I was out there this past summer, I was like, I'm all about successional. And I was just going nuts at the potential of this is, if given the right funds and like if people agree on it, it would be a wonderful spot for maintaining successional. Yeah. I mean, we're maintaining it anyways, but we're just like clear cutting. But if we had a plan, it could a management plan, looking out long term. Yeah, it'd be really cool.
So what is the process now with the Cattle Rock? I mean, are you involved, Kathy?
I'm the Willington representative. I was
Okay.
asked by the first selectman to do that. So we haven't met yet as a committee because what they're doing is they're hiring the consultant, and then once the consultant does their work, they'll be presenting it to our committee. And then we'll be having hearings with the public to see what the public thinks and what they want to see happen with the properties.
Who in Ashford's on the committee? I don't name names, but I mean, is it like the Board of Selectmen?
No, it's residents who have some background, like somebody has some background as a realtor, somebody has an engineering background. I forget what the third person has as a background. They might be on the inland wetlands in,
And that's
Yeah.
that's how Ashford Board of Selectmen, they set it up that way.
yeah.
And so in Wellington side, are you the only representative?
Yes, there was only one because
One.
of, the amount of land.
Yeah, we only have 30 acres of it. They have
Yeah.
300, I
I-
think.
But I like your idea, Heather. I think, getting out there in the spring, the other thing to, because it's early successional, would be to kind of survey what's going on in terms of bird habitat there.
Yeah,
Because,
absolutely.
there's some birds that, that's specific habitat for them. So that would be great to do.
No, I mean, it would be, like I said, I mean, I didn't have an opportunity to survey last year. But, I was out there just as they were cutting, and I made some suggestions of like, leave this, leave that, because I wanted to see what would happen. And it would be, I would love to do a survey of that property, actually. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, let's think about doing that. And we have some people in town. We can tap Ken Metzler's a biologist who worked for the state, did a lot of plant surveys and things like that. I know that he, is interested in things like that. We certainly can, get some other experts out there in the spring.
Yeah, and I also have a network I can draw on if we end up doing some kind of survey between Master Woodland and Master Wildlife, people who are always looking to volunteer with these kind of things to get out there.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Anybody else interested in getting involved in that particular project?
Kathy,
I'll-
hire
yeah.
somebody, when your committee hires somebody, you're hiring somebody to do an assessment of the site, or not the assessment, but potential use?
Yes, it's an engineering firm like Ally works with.
Yeah,
They look at environmental assessments of the property. They'll look at, what's been done. If there's still remediation, like what level of remediation that would be. Does it need to be done? If you're going to just leave it as habitat, like wildlife habitat, would you really need to do the remediation? Those kinds of questions will be part of their report.
Yeah, just so we're all aware, the cleanup regulations that DEEP has put forth change on March 1st. So like the standards for cleanup and what like requires cleanup to what standards changes on March 1st.
are they more restrictive or less?
So it's gonna, instead of like, I don't know if you've heard of the property transfer program,
Yeah.
it's now it's a release-based program. So any sort of release now is entering a program and comes to us to a cleanup versus there's less of a requirement. It was more based on what the property was used for,
That's what I,
whether it was cleaned up. So it's stricter and includes, it's more encompassing.
yeah. Because even like you said, Heather, it's 300 acres.
I know.
I mean, Ashford could say, hey, this is our opportunity for economic development here.
That there's a big, I sense there's a big push for that from the
Yeah.
population.
I imagine.
Yeah. But it doesn't mean all of it. And there's a lot of wetlands on it.
There's a lot
so-
of wetlands. You
yeah.
can't see it from, but like I had walked down and there's quite a bit of wetlands that wouldn't be buildable.
Yeah.
I think in the many years ago, I think it was either they were looking at it as a golf course, perhaps developing as a golf
Mhm.
course.
Yeah.
We need more of those. They're so monoculture. It's terrible. Anyway, but the wetlands, though, the parts that I saw, they really could use some serious restoration and buffering. Because they're pretty dug up and ruddy in spots, so it could use some work. But yeah, I like I said, that was just 2 walkovers I did, but it wasn't really comprehensive. I was just kind of like overwhelmed at the potential.
Yeah, well, we'll keep that on the agenda then, and we can kind of make sure we're putting it as one of our activities in the spring.
Yeah, that'd be great. Like I said, it just came up for me because I saw that it's come up again. Mike had said something out and I was like, oh, we're looking at Cattle Rock again. So, and then I just happened to be working with this wildlife biologist at the same time. So my brain was like, ding, ding, ding.
Yeah, yeah, there'll be something in the Wellington Wire about it. We put out kind of a news release or a press release about this whole thing with the committee being coming up and everything. So there'll be something in the Wellington Wire about it. Any other open space opportunities that people want to bring up? Okay. Wellington Wire, I pretty much finished an article that I was doing. It kind of incorporated the whole partnership of the town with the Natchog Watershed Advisory Board and some of the upcoming activities so that people would know about those. After that issue is out for March, it'll be actually April, May, and June. The next issue will be July, August, September issue, and it would be due for submission the early part of June. Is anybody willing to do an article for the Wellington Wire on a conservation topic or?
I had a thought because for new business, I was gonna bring up something again, this wildlife biologist I work with about native plant seed collecting. And I was gonna offer a workshop through Conservation Commission on, we can't do it now because it's over, but winter sowing some of these native seeds. And Pete, his name's Pete Pacone. He said he would come out here and do the workshop with me for the public.
Oh,
So I thought maybe I could write something about native seed collection and habitat restoration, maybe leading up to that. I don't know.
yeah.
Something, I'm not sure. It's literally just a quick brainstorm, but
If you think you want to work toward that, Heather, that would be great. If for some reason that, June is coming up too quick and you just don't have the time, we have some old articles that we can kind of put
Okay.
back into use. So don't worry.
because like
don't-
if I do,
Yeah.
that one comes out July, August, September. Because if we're gonna, I would like to do a native seed collection because we actually have about quite a bit that we could do. Like in the fall is the best time to do it in September, so that would be a good issue to kind of lead up to that. So I have to get my newsletter out for in the next week for DPW, but I'll let you know more like by the end of March.
Yeah, I mean, even if you can't write a particular article, we can at least, if you know by then
Yeah,
when the
sure.
program's going to be, we can put that in there.
Yeah, sure.
Okay,
Do
awesome.
you want to put something in there too, Kathy, maybe about soliciting that same summer one for whenever we do the fall work at the properties?
Yep,
Just as
That's
a reminder, looking for volunteers or
Volunteers.
something.
yep, great idea. Okay. Yeah, we usually do our fall work in October. So, it would be good to get the word out ahead of time. All right, great. Any other ideas for a wire article? Okay, all right, open space and natural resources mapping. I got an email from the professor at UConn who originally had said he thought he had a student who would be, interested in working with us on updating our natural resource maps. And he said, it's an undergraduate student, and I guess he's decided he doesn't have the time this semester to do it. So, the professor felt bad, but, he did let me know that. So what I'd like to suggest is, again, for our March and April meetings, we're hoping to meet in person. My plan is to make copies of our open space maps and our natural resource inventory that we had been using for years. And I can bring a copy for everybody to have. We can start to look at them and we can, talk about which of the maps probably need some updating, and then we can, think about how we might work toward that. We'd like to get all of those maps updated by 2028, because that's when the next plan of conservation and development is due to be done. So we have time.
Is there a line item, Kathy, for cost for to
No.
do the maps?
I can check with Mike D'Amato. There's money to do the plan of conservation of development, and there's typically maps in that. So whether or not it would be better for us to have more control and do the mapping, or if they would leave that to the consultant and there would probably be more limited mapping, we can talk to Mike D'Amato and see, what the plan is. But they did budget for that in the CIP.
Okay,
So.
okay.
And then, again, I know that Paul has a little bit of background in mapping and, perhaps he would be willing to work with us on that. Jackie's got some background on mapping. I know that she's a little strapped with the computer. But those are things we can think about, how we can work on some of the mapping. There's a lot available through websites, the state websites online. It's just a matter of kind of understanding how to work with their systems to download the information and create maps, and layers and things like that if we need something that's a little more layered. Membership, just waiting for Paul to come on board and then we'll have a full house. We won't have any more room at the inn after that. Oh. Communications, I wanted to let you know that Joe Felipe, who is the president of the Wellington Fish and Game Club, he let me know that they just adopted new bylaws. And when they adopted bylaws, they had to have a plan what they would do if they ever dissolved the Fish and Game Club. And what they decided is to put into their bylaws, if they ever dissolve, then all of the net assets and any objects shall be transferred to the Wellington Conservation Commission. So we hope they have a long and healthy life, but he wanted to let me know that in the event that they ever dissolve the club, that the assets would be transferred over, any net assets would be transferred over to the Wellington Conservation Commission. So I thought that was really very nice of them to think of the town in that way.
Oh, Kathy, just as a side note, that's
Yeah.
also in the Historical Society's bylaws.
Oh, okay.
Because
That's-
the Historical Society was an offshoot of the Conservation Commission.
Commission? Oh, wow. Okay. Well, again, we live long and prosper.
Yeah, nothing nefarious.
Yeah. Anybody have any other communications you want to share? Anything from any other organizations? Okay. Oh, I forgot to mention, going back to collaborative news, the Council on Land Conservation Connecticut Land Conservation Council, CLCC, is having their annual meeting in March. I had sent out information. If anybody wants to go to that conference, it's excellent. Laura and I went last year. And if anybody wants to go, the commission can reimburse you for your registration fee.
Is that the
So
one that's at
it's-
Wesleyan?
It's the one at Wesleyan, yeah.
Okay, all right. I have to
Yeah.
look. I think I had a conflict, but I'm gonna double check.
I want to say it's March 23rd. It's a Saturday. It's an all-day conference. They have excellent speakers. They have a wide variety of speakers. If anybody has the time to go, I really encourage you to think about going. And Paul, if you're interested in going, I believe you'll probably be a commission member by then. So if you wanted to go and register, you could always turn your registration documentation back into Tessa, and then we could make sure you get reimbursed.
Okay,
So,
thank you.
all right. Under new business, the only thing I wanted to report is last night at town meeting, the Wellington Sustainability and Energy Committee had put forward some recommendations that the town register to be part of Sustainable CT, which is a program that provides a lot of information and support to towns to do things that will continue to make you a sustainable, healthy community. And there's lots of different suggested things that towns can try to achieve. They're not required to it. It's a volunteer program, but towns who achieve certain levels, they get so many points for doing so many things in their town, can achieve a certain level, whether it's a bronze, silver, gold level. And so it did get passed last night. There were about 76 people at the town meeting last night. It was a big town meeting.
Mhm.
And 2/3 of the people who voted to support that. So it did pass. So the Sustainability Commission will be kind of spearheading that, but there's lots of opportunities. I'll try to get a list of all the different things that can earn points for the town. There might be some things that the Conservation Commission can help to achieve so that those points can go toward different levels. And there's grants that are available through Sustainable CT for towns that are part of it. So I think it's a good thing. Anything else under new business? Heather, did you have any other things?
I don't think so.
Okay.
No, I don't think I did. Did I? Is there
Well, you
something
said
I'm
Cable
forgetting?
Rock. Yeah.
Cadle Rock was the one. Yeah, that was okay.
I like your
I was like, did I mention something last night? And I don't remember.
Heather, I like your idea, the old town landfill as an opportunity for grassland habitat.
Yeah, I mean, we have to mow that. We have to maintain that, and just to keep successional forest from happening, so it doesn't
Yeah.
penetrate the cap. But I'm up there and I'm like, this would be great meadow habitat. And no one's going to be up there. It's open and it's beautiful up there, believe it or not. So I was picking Pete's brain when I was at this workshop for Deep, and he said we'll talk more about it, but I have to check with any regulations for managing that. But he said there are species that we could put up there that wouldn't affect the cap that's there. So I'm gonna work on that more, and I'll definitely report back to you guys if I get anything. But it would be a wonderful
That would be
meadow
nice.
habitat.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, how often do they mow it, Heather? Is it annually or?
Yeah, but
Annually.
they do. However, there are practices that can be in play where when you're maintaining meadow habitat, you have a rotational mowing.
Mhm.
And the mowing up there, like I said, is primarily for keeping woody shrubs and things from forming in there so
Right.
they don't penetrate the cap. But there's lots of practices you can do that help sustain, especially ground nesting birds, by only doing have a plan, like 1 year you do a third of it, the next year you do the next third, and just rotate through. So you're maintaining the grassland without damaging nesting sites. There's a lot that can be managed. So I have to talk to Deep Solid Waste Commission about, is that something that we could do, and then
Yeah.
work with wildlife biology on that. But yeah.
Do you know
great.
how big an area it is up there?
I
How many
don't.
acres?
I'll have to look.
Has everybody gone up there? Do you know what we're talking about? If you're at the transfer station and you go
Past the brush
past the
pile?
swap shed and you go up the hill?
That's
where
quite
there's
a
a brush-
view.
It
It's
is quite a
beautiful,
view.
yeah.
Yeah.
It's a beautiful view, but it's very sloped. So, it's not flat and open, but I don't know. I just think, why not? It's just getting mowed. Why not put, some species in there that are going to benefit?
Sure. That's a great idea. I mean, we certainly, if you come up with a plan and we need to buy some seed or whatever, it's
Okay.
something that we can consider through the Conservation Commission.
Okay. Yeah. Once I know more about the regulatory part of it, because it's a landfill and, we do water well testing. We have well testing done on that to monitor the leaching.
Mhm.
Once I find out from the state if it's okay to do something like that, then I will definitely be getting.
They put solar panels in Hartford.
Yeah, I know.
On a landfill?
Oh yeah. You can reuse landfill, capped landfills.
Yeah,
Okay.
And
but it just,
they don't want to disturb the membrane.
right.
That destroys everything. But you
Yeah.
also have your gas intakes and outtakes, right?
Mhm. I don't know up there.
I think you do.
Yeah, I just haven't, I've never seen them because I probably haven't gone to that part, but
But you
they
can't
just worry
reuse,
about
yeah,
penetrating
you
that
can't
cap.
reuse, right, you can't reuse landfills, or cap landfills.
Mhm.
Oh, that would be interesting to
Some
figure out
people use it for skiing.
for
Yeah.
skiing.
In
Yeah,
Michigan, there's
Well,
one.
the
It
slope
would
on
make
this
a
one would
great
be
toboggan hill, but
it'd be too steep,
right into the woods and then the
right to
highway.
84.
you'd have to have some kind of catchment area.
I used to
around you.
go there in my little Rabbit to take out the my bags of trash, tossed it in there.
Yeah.
Crazy, right?
No, but it is an interesting thought. I mean, can I ask a crazy question? I mean, can you use it as a trail?
I don't know. That's what
I
I want to
don't
find
know.
out.
Like on the edge or something where
Well,
people
the
could
thing
go
is,
up to the
though,
top?
I don't know.
Okay.
The only thing I think that would be an issue would be
Parking.
parking, but also that the access to the transfer station. There's no gate in the back there that would keep people from going in from that way.
Yeah,
If we had access would be an issue.
gotcha. Yeah. Plus
But
the
it doesn't mean
transfers-
we couldn't do like planned hikes or guided hikes, you know?
Right.
But
I have
but
a
I do
key.
like, yeah, I mean, I do like your idea of leaving it natural, but being more beneficial for pollinators and things. How about the old landfill? Does anybody know about the old landfill that was along Fenton? What happened to that? That was capped, wasn't that?
Along Moose Meadow?
That was capped. Yeah.
Yeah,
What's the state of that area now? Does it have to be mowed?
it's forgotten.
No,
Where is
there's,
that?
it's right along Moose Meadow Road, and there's fairly good sized pine trees growing on it. That the pine trees were planted as a Eagle Scout project years ago.
Where on Moose Meadow?
If you go
You
down,
know,
you know where the campground is? It's around that area.
right past where the driveway goes into the Moose Meadow campground, go down maybe 100 feet, and on the left-hand side it starts, and it goes right along the road
No kidding.
there. Yeah.
But I don't, when I moved into town in 87, that wasn't an active landfill. So I don't know when they capped it. Do you, Bob?
No, that was long gone
It's
when
gotta
we
be like
came to town.
60s,
I was gonna
70s.
say, is it a historic landfill or it was a town
It
landfill?
was a town landfill.
Right along the river. That's smart.
Mm.
Well, that's where they always put them.
I know. I've dug up plenty.
But that's interesting that they planted things on it. That's kind of, I wonder how it was capped and if that was a concern at the time.
Well, you have to think about what kind of material were they capping with at
Right.
that stage.
They didn't have
Yeah.
the geotextiles that we have now.
No.
No.
Okay.
So who knows
Interesting.
what's in that landfill?
So, I mean, it could be really heavy, thick tar paper,
Yeah.
and, put it down, put some soil over it, plant some trees on it, and call it a day.
Wow. I wonder if anybody monitors the water in the Fenton just downstream of
I
it.
don't believe so. Well, unless the state does, unbeknownst to us.
Oh,
We don't. That's not one of our monitoring.
yeah.
Yeah.
Shh. All right. Anything else before we adjourn?
I just had Tessa, do you have a minute when we're done? I just wanted to ask you about what the article you're writing for the next issue.
Yeah, it's going to be, I talked to Kathy last night. It's just going to be a paragraph on
Okay.
birthday, just to celebrate. It's going to be very short since Kathy's written it out.
Oh, okay. I thought for some reason I
Yeah.
thought it was recycling of the
No,
trans.
no.
Okay, because I have all the metrics on that. If you guys ever want it, I do usually report it in the newsletter, like how much we
That's wonderful.
the pound, the tonnage that we recycle.
yeah.
So, yeah, that's the rates are going up. I don't know. You guys will learn about that soon enough.
Excellent.
All right. Anything else before we say goodnight? Does anybody want to make a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Okay, second?
I'll second.
Okay. All in favor. Good night.
All right.
Good night.
Good night.
All
Good
right,
night.
have a good month. Bye.